Have you ever wondered why, despite eating well, exercising, and doing everything right, your legs feel weaker? Why does it feel like the steps are becoming steeper? Why does it take a little longer now than it used to get out of chair? Is it simply aging, or is there another factor that is subtly hurting you? This is where you might be surprised. It's not always what you're not doing. You're already doing it without even realizing how bad it is. The majority of seniors make a quiet error every day, and they do it with complete assurance, believing they're making the proper decision because they have been told throughout their lives that fruits are healthy, natural, and good. Indeed, most of them are. This is the reality, though, that nobody discusses. Not every fruit is suitable for elderly people. In actuality, some fruits, the ones we consume without question every week, can gradually weaken the legs, cause knee pain, aggravate joint inflammation, and make walking more challenging. Fruits that are promoted as healthful may actually be detrimental to your mobility, balance, and leg strength. You see, as we age, our bodies change. Our circulation weakens, our metabolism slows down, and the foods that used to benefit us can now subtly begin to harm us, particularly some fruits. They could appear innocent. They might have a sweet flavor. However, they include a lot of acids, carbohydrates, and other substances that affect blood sugar levels, cause joint inflammation, and weaken your legs. What's worse, the harm is gradual, subtle, and undetectable until one day you experience a sharp pain in your calves, persistent thigh discomfort, or an odd tightness in your knees after only a quick stroll. The 7 deadliest fruits that any senior over 60 should stay away from are going to be revealed today, especially if you want to shield your legs from long-term harm, pain, and weakening. Despite their seeming innocuousness, none of these fruits are. You'll never again view your fruit dish the same way after you've read the truth. Therefore, stick with me through to the end if you value your strength and want to maintain stable, strong, and pain-free legs. Your body might be waiting for this wake-up call. But wait a moment before we jump in. Click the subscribe button and enable notifications if you're concerned about your health, because it's here that we reveal the truths that nobody discusses, and I want to know whether you're with me. If you're now watching, if this video resonates with you, type 1 in the comment section. If not, type 0. You don't realize how important your voice is. Let's begin by discussing the first fruit on our list. It is commended for its ability to reduce inflammation. However, it may be having the reverse effect on elders. Let's discuss pineapple. Pineapple, the first fruit and the silent information gatherer, wrote 500 words. Pineapple. The climate is tropical. It's juicy. It's revitalizing. And because of a substance called bromelain, it has been hailed for years as a natural anti-inflammatory. Here's the twist, though. Although many people think pineapple reduces knowledge, it may be the quiet cause for elders. You know, pineapple has strong acids and natural sugars. Furthermore, those sugars are not as harmless as they may appear, particularly if you're older than 60. Let me clarify. Our blood vessels get more delicate and sensitive as we age. They no longer respond to sugar increases in the same manner. In spite of its advantages, pineapple gives the blood a powerful dose of natural sugar. How does that work? It raises blood sugar levels quickly. The little blood veins that supply your legs, foot, and muscles may sustain injury as a result of that spike. As circulation deteriorates over time, less oxygen will reach your legs, and you know what that results in: pain, exhaustion, swelling after a short stroll. You have that dull, dragging ache in your legs, standing with that stiffness in your knees. Your ankles suddenly hurt even if you've been sitting all day. There's more. Pineapple is acidic in addition to being sweet. That acid can cause joint irritation, particularly if you already have inflammation or arthritis. It smolders the burning that already burns in your ankles, hips, and knees like fuel. Some even observe that their legs feel heavy after consuming pineapple, as if the strength were gradually ebbing away. You also need to be aware of something else. If you're on any drugs, particularly blood thinners, the well-known enzyme bromelain. Certain drugs may interact with it, becoming either excessively strong or insufficiently powerful. The most hazardous aspect of all, however, is this: there aren't any significant, obvious negative effects of pineapple. There are no obvious indications or immediate pain. Rather, it infiltrates gradually until you eventually realize that you are unable to move as you once could. The saddest part, too: the majority of seniors are unaware that the fruit they consume for health reasons may contribute to the yearly weakness they experience in their legs. What are you able to do then? It's not necessary to despise pineapple. However, you must know and speak up enough, particularly if you've been dealing with persistent leg pain or inexplicable swelling. The harm is subtle but genuine. Now, if the fruit with anti-inflammatory properties, pineapple, can be this bad for aging legs, what about the next one? It is supple. It's delightful. It is well known for boosting your muscle power and potassium levels. However, it could be deceiving you. Let's discuss bananas, the second fruit. Bananas, the imposter of muscle, soft, sweet, and high in potassium. Bananas are a great food. They're said to provide energy, avoid cramps, and benefit muscles. However, the situation is different for elders. Natural sugar and quick-digesting carbohydrates are abundant in bananas. This indicates that immediately after eating, your blood sugar levels rise and your body begins to resist insulin. When that occurs frequently, the flow becomes weaker, inflammation increases, and your legs also suffer as a result. You may experience a dull soreness when walking or climbing stairs, heaviness in your legs after meals, and stiffness in your calves. The story doesn't end there. Additionally, bananas make you retain more fluid, especially if you have heart problems. This results in stiff joints, swollen feet, and swollen ankles. The effect is silent. You believe they will help your muscles, so you eat them. Instead, they can be gradually depleting your strength. The worst part comes next. It won't hit you immediately. However, over time, eating bananas might make it more difficult to move and cause more pain. Consider the fruits on your plate if you frequently experience heavy aching or swollen legs. Bananas may not be as amiable as they first appear. What if something even smaller can achieve this? Bananas are known for supporting muscles, small, charming, and naive-looking. However, it can be causing your joints to burn. Let's discuss grapes, the third fruit. Grapes, little fruit, significant inflammatory effect. Grapes, they appear naive, tiny, juicy, simple to eat as a snack. They also have a stellar reputation, heart-healthy, packed with antioxidants. However, the majority of individuals are unaware of this. Elderly people may have mild leg pain, stiffness, and inflammation when they eat grapes. Why? Because grapes contain fructose, a substance that can be harmful in high concentrations, a sugar that is directly absorbed by the liver, and it becomes fat and uric acid. When your liver is unable to handle it completely, the actual harm begins then, particularly in the toes, ankles, and knees. Uric acid accumulates in the joints. It causes an intermittent burning and swelling ache, that nagging pain that makes even light walking difficult. Have you ever had that piercing pain in your big toe at night? That unexpected stiffness in your calves? It may be something as minor as a handful of grapes causing your uric acid to rise. Furthermore, it doesn't end there. Your body's chronic inflammation is also fueled by fructose. This entails slower movement, increased pressure, and stiffness. Grapes are also far too simple to overindulge. They're small enough to nibble onto. They're not hefty. Before you realize it, though, you've consumed 2 or 3 cups. Additionally, the sugar quickly accumulates. Therefore, even while grapes could appear like a nutritious snack, they may subtly weaken, reduce the flexibility, and make your legs less comfortable as you age. You now know what can be hidden behind that sweetness. If you've been eating grapes on a regular basis and have been experiencing increasing stiffness and swelling, however, there are other delicious fruits that can be harmful besides grapes. Another is luscious, vibrant, and renowned for its ability to hydrate. Don't be duped, though, on the inside. It functions like sugar, even though it tastes like water. Let's discuss watermelon, the fourth fruit. Watermelon, the bogus hydrator. Watermelon, light, revitalizing, a representation of hydration and summer. Is it possible that this watery fruit is subtly damaging your legs? Isn't that odd since everyone agrees that watermelon is a good way to stay hydrated? It feels safe, has few calories, and is primarily water. Here's the secret, though. The glycemic index is extremely high for watermelon. This indicates that it quickly raises blood sugar levels, much like candy. Additionally, seniors suffer significant harm from those frequent sugar spikes, particularly to their legs. Let's dissect it. Your body releases insulin when your blood sugar levels rise rapidly. However, insulin is poorly regulated in aging bodies. Inflammation results from this, particularly in places with inadequate circulation. What does it appear? Your calf, your ankles, your knees. Leg tiredness may occur immediately after eating, a dull discomfort when taking quick strolls, that weird persistent swelling around your ankles. Climbing begins to resemble ascending a mountain. Watermelon has a light texture on the inside, though it acts like a charming trap, gently wearing down your legs. Most people eat a lot of it since it's juicy and refreshing. A single slice becomes 2, then 3. Add more sugar, more stress, increased inflammation. It's misleading. You believe you're drinking water. Your blood sugar is spiking instead. Your circulation is having trouble. Your legs are suffering as a result. Does watermelon actually help seniors stay hydrated? Or does each mouthful subtly increase the discomfort of movement? It could be time to reconsider if the watermelon on your plate is erratic and your legs have been feeling more exhausted lately. Let's move on to a fruit that is associated with vitamin C and health. Juices, immunity-boosting drinks, and breakfast all included. Seniors, however, may experience an acidic attack on their joints. Let's discuss oranges, the fifth fruit. Oranges, the attack of acid on joints. Oranges, they're intelligent. They have a new scent. They're also all over the place. Juices, health supplements, and breakfast platters. They're said to increase immunity because of vitamin C. However, oranges may be concealing an unpleasant reality for elders, particularly those over 60. Acid, which your joints dislike, is what's behind that citrus glow. Citrus is abundant in oranges. Even though that might seem normal, it can cause quiet joint irritation, particularly if your body is already battling inflammation, stiffness, or arthritis. When you wake up, you may experience a gradual stiffness in your knees, persistent hip pain, that uncomfortable sensation in your legs after prolonged sitting, decreased mobility, and increased swelling. You might assume it's simply aging. However, that healthy practice of drinking orange juice every morning can be contributing to the very pain you're attempting to prevent. This is what actually occurs. Orange citric acid has effects beyond the stomach. It gets into your bloodstream and can exacerbate your joints' delicate tissues. Additionally, it causes blood sugar fluctuations when mixed with the fruit's natural sugar. And what's the result of that? Inflammation throughout the body. Every step seems a little heavier and more painful due to inflammation that spreads to your knees, ankles, and calves. You see, oranges may not be harmful to a younger individual. However, the effect develops subtly in an elderly person with aging joints and slower circulation. The most difficult aspect is that you're doing it with the belief that you're benefiting yourself, since oranges have long been associated with wellness. However, you're now aware that they could not be good for your health. What comes next? Then the following fruit has a tidy appearance, green, crisp, and lower in sugar. People believe it to be the safe option. However, it conceals something that can result in cramping during the night, tight knees, and hurting hips. Now let's discuss green apples, the sixth fruit. Green apples, a secret cause of leg pain. They appear crisp, clean, and organic. Additionally, most individuals, especially seniors, believe they are the healthier option because they taste less sweet. It seems like a healthy, low-sugar snack. However, most people are unaware of this. Green apples might subtly cause weariness, stiffness, and leg pain. Malic acid and hidden natural sugar are the two things that pose a threat. First, let's discuss malic acid. Green apples get their sour flavor from this acid. Additionally, it can be unpleasant for aging digestion, even though it's great for youthful individuals. Our gut lining gets more sensitive with age. Additionally, malic acid can irritate tissues, including joints, once it enters the body. After eating apples, some elderly people have severe hip or thigh pain. Others experience a mild heat in their feet or a tightness in their knees. It takes time to occur, but as time passes, the acid accumulates, and the agony increases in frequency. Let's now discuss the sugar. Green apples still contain natural sugars, even if they don't taste as sweet as red apples. Additionally, that sugar causes blood sugar fluctuations in elderly people with slower metabolisms. Your calves may be tired. Your legs may cramp at night. You may experience stiffness in the morning, or you may feel weak when ascending stairs. The most challenging aspect is that green apples are frequently consumed uncooked as a snack or even right before bed. As a result, the body is constantly affected by them. They appear very healthy and pure. However, green apples may be subtly making it harder to walk, stiffening joints, and making evenings more restless for aging bodies. What about a tropical, rich, and extremely sweet fruit that can have this effect? If a fruit this basic can, the one most adored by many, let's discuss the true sugar bomb, the mango. Mango, the seventh fruit, a sugar explosion for your joints. Mango, juicy, soft, and candy. Nearly everyone likes this fruit, particularly during the summer months. Here's the truth, though. The mango may be the most harmful fruit for elderly people who have joint weakness and leg pain. Why? Since it contains a lot of natural sugar, I don't mean a little either. I'm talking about a significant sugar punch that will cause your blood sugar to rise sharply and quickly. Now, your body can often handle that rise if you're active and under 30. However, your metabolism changes after the age of 60. An insulin spike and subsequent crash are caused by that sugar rush. And each time this occurs, your body produces inflammation deep within your joints, particularly in the soft tissues surrounding your ankles, hips, and knees. Particularly if you have nerve problems, you can experience a burning sensation in your toes, a tingling sensation that won't go away, swelling around your feet in the evening, or a creeping heaviness in your legs. Because mango tastes light, feels fresh, and doesn't seem like a big meal, it is simple to consume in greater portions. But doing so makes it worse. That's the trick, though. The sensation of lightness is irrelevant to the body. The sugar causes it to react. Additionally, over time, that sugar may cause joint pain, sluggish walking, and unsteady legs. Many elderly people consume mangoes because they think they're a natural delight. It is natural, too. However, natural does not always equate to safety for weaker circulation and aging joints. You've seen the whole picture now. Despite being hailed for their health benefits, 7 fruits have a negative aspect for people over 60. Here's the good news, though. Some fruits have the opposite effect. They promote strong, sturdy legs, reduce joint pain, and combat inflammation. Next, let's discuss the therapeutic alternatives, and what elders should eat in its place. Let's move on to what you can eat now that you are aware of which fruits to avoid, because eating the appropriate fruits does more than just satisfy your hunger. Your body is healed by them. First, let's talk about berries, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, etc. These little fruits are potent anti-inflammatory agents. They are mild on your blood sugar, high in antioxidants, and low in sugar. Above all, they increase circulation, particularly in the legs. They promote easier mobility, combat stiffness, and lessen edema. Cherries next, but sparingly. In fact, cherries can help reduce uric acid, which reduces the likelihood of gout and joint pain flare-ups. They relieve sore joints and the burning feeling in your knees or toes. A handful of cherries, not a bunch, can provide significant relief. The avocado comes next. It is a fruit, indeed. It's also among the greatest for healthy joints. Why? Because it has a lot of good fats that reduce inflammation inside your body and cushion your joints. Additionally, it aids in insulin regulation, providing steady energy without blood sugar fluctuations. Are you trying to find something that is easy to digest? Give papaya a try. Enzymes found in this tender tropical fruit help reduce inflammation and facilitate digestion. It is easy on aging joints and mild on the stomach. Additionally, remember to eat pears with a small amount of fiber or protein. They provide a subtle sweetness without being overly sweet. They provide energy to your body without putting undue strain on your legs. Instead of working against your body, each of these fruits supports it. They don't cause discomfort. They don't make you swell. They help your body achieve the vigor, equilibrium, and serenity it seeks. It's not only about eating fruit. Remember, it all comes down to picking the appropriate ones for your age, fruits that are appropriate for your body right now. And you begin to sense it when you consciously make those decisions. Firmer steps, calmer motions, and clearer mornings. Let's conclude with some closing remarks, words of wisdom, and a message specifically for you. One thing informs me. If you've read this far, you are concerned about your future, your strength, and your health, and I want you to clearly hear this. It's not too late for you to change. You still have time to recover, and you're not the only one who has this. Getting older is difficult. The pain, stiffness, and fear of falling come gradually, and they can occasionally give you the impression that your body is vanishing. Here's the reality, though. You may take charge by making sensible, modest adjustments rather than taking extreme measures. One meal, one fruit, and one decision at a time. Although the fruits we discussed today aren't harmful, they might no longer be the best for your health. And that's all right, because growing older doesn't mean giving up. It's about being more intelligent. You'll notice a difference when you start eating mindfully and select meals that promote strength, circulation, and joints. Less discomfort, more flexibility, smoother mornings, and lighter steps. That's the point of this charity, not fear or limitation. I'd like to hear from you now. Tell us what you learned today and what change you're prepared to make in the comments section below, since we all grow when we share. Let's help one another. Please hit the like button if this video was helpful to you, or if it even slightly opened your eyes. Click subscribe to ensure you don't overlook any information that could alter your health. Turn on the bell before you leave. Please input 1 if this video was useful. If not, type 0. You may not realize how important your comment is. Remain resilient and observant, and never forget that your independence is carried by your legs.